March 2002 sisters, both 62, both had worked similar jobs, earned similar salaries, contributed to their 401ks for 20 years. Both had $800,000 saved. One retired that March. The other got cold feet about timing and kept working 3 more years. By 2003, the first sister's portfolio had fallen to $470,000. She was withdrawing $3,200 a month to cover rent, insurance, and groceries. She did everything right, stayed diversified, did not panic, sell. But she kept withdrawing because she had to live, and the market kept dropping and she was pulling money out at the bottom. By 2017, she was down to $90,000 and reducing her standard of living every year. The second sister retired in 2003. She had $720,000. Same stocks, same funds, same average return over the next 20 years. But she retired after the crash. Not before it, she lived comfortably into her 80s. Same discipline, same savings rate, same investments, completely different lives. Nobody warned them this could happen. Their financial advisors showed them both the same return projections because the financial industry shows you average returns. What they do not show you is that the order of those returns can matter more than the returns themselves. My name is Tom, and I spend way too much time thinking about the specific mechanics of how careful, disciplined people end up broke anyway. If you are within 15 years of retirement and you've been told to just keep investing and you'll be fine, subscribe and stick around because that advice is half true in a way that could cost you everything. By the end of this video, you'll understand the sequence of returns trap that has silently wiped out carefully saved portfolios for decades. You'll understand why the most dangerous years of your financial life are the 5 before and the 5 after you stop working, and you'll understand what actually separates people who retire comfortably from the ones who end up back at work at 74. Think about a weather vane. It tells you which direction the wind has been blowing on average. Useful, but if you're trying to land a small plane, you don't care about the average. You care about what the wind is doing the moment your wheels touch the runway. One bad gust at the wrong moment, and the average means nothing. Your retirement portfolio works the same way. For 30 years, you are flying with no passengers. Market goes down, you keep buying, turbulence is your opportunity. But the moment you retire, you are landing the plane with your whole life aboard. If the wind is wrong at that exact moment, the average year means nothing. Here is the math that breaks people. S-Brains, 2 investors, Kevin and Linda, both have $1 million at retirement. Both withdraw $50,000 a year. Kevin retires into a strong market. Year 1, up 20%. Year 2, up 15%. Down 30%, average return over 3 years, roughly 5% annually. Kevin's portfolio at year 3, about $1,050,000. Linda, same million, same withdrawal rate, same exact annual returns. Just in reverse order, year 1, down 30%. Year 2, up 15%. Year 3, up 20%. Average return still 5%. Linda's portfolio at year 3, roughly $790,000. She is down $260,000 compared to Kevin. Same average, same money, same withdrawal, different sequence, and here is where it compounds. A smaller base means future gains grow on less. Linda's recovery never catches Kevin's over a 30-year retirement. That reverse sequence can mean the difference between dying with money and running out of it at 79. This is called sequence of returns risk, the single most under-discussed concept in mainstream retirement planning. This is not theory. In 1999, the S&P 500 returned 21%. Then 2000, down 9%, 2001, down 22%. Someone who retired January 2000 with $1 million and withdrew $50,000 a year saw their portfolio drop to roughly $580,000 by end of 2002. Even when markets recovered years later, they were withdrawing from a much smaller base. The compounding worked against them in a way it never could during accumulation. Someone who retired January 2003 with the same million had a completely different experience. The crash had already happened. The recovery worked in their favor from day one. The cruel irony, both retirees were equally disciplined. Both did everything the textbook said. The difference was timing, which is mostly luck and partly structure. And luck is not a retirement plan. Most people believe they will see the bad years coming and adjust. Cut spending during crashes. Stay flexible. But this is not how humans behave under real financial stress. I know a retired teacher who left work in 2008 with $650,000. She had every intention of pulling back if markets got rough. What actually happened? She needed a new roof within 6 months. Then her car gave out. Then her husband needed surgery with unexpected out-of-pocket costs. She was not reckless. Life does not pause because your portfolio is declining. By 2010, she had $390,000 and a cost structure she could not shrink because she was locked into a mortgage, a car note, and recurring medical expenses. She could not think her way out of the trap because you cannot time life crises any better than you can time markets. This is the gap between theoretical flexibility and actual human behavior under financial pressure. Financial plans assume a rational actor. Retirement introduces an emotional actor dealing with health scares, family obligations, and a quiet identity crisis about what life means now that work is over. So what can you actually do here is the structural protocol. First, build a cash buffer equal to 2 to 3 years of living expenses before you retire, not invested. Not in bonds, actual cash high, yield savings. Short term treasury bills, completely liquid. This is your landing gear. If the market drops 30% in your first year of retirement, you pull from the cash buffer instead of selling stocks at the bottom. You give the portfolio time to recover without forcing withdrawals during the worst window. What you lose in foregone returns is almost always less than what a forced crash withdrawal would take from you. Second, use a dynamic withdrawal rate tied to portfolio performance. Not a fixed dollar number. When your portfolio is up, take your full withdrawal. When it is down hard, cut your withdrawal by 10 to 15% that year. Even a small reduction in a crash year dramatically extends portfolio life because you preserve more shares to compound in the recovery. Build this flexibility into your lifestyle before you retire, not after the crisis forces it. Third, build income that does not depend on your portfolio value. Social Security. A small annuity covering core fixed expenses, rental income, part-time work you genuinely want to do. The goal is a floor that keeps you from being a forced seller when prices are low. The retirees who survive bad sequence risk almost always have some income that does not move with the stock market. Here is the identity shift that ties this together. For 30 years you were accumulating, your job was to put money in and leave it alone. That required one psychological skill, patience during downturns. Buy more when it drops. Hold retirement requires the opposite. You are now decumulating. Volatility is your enemy, not your opportunity. You are no longer buying the dip. You are the forced seller during it. Most people glide into retirement carrying the accumulation mindset. Buy and hold, stay invested. Do not panic. If the first 5 years cooperate, that works. If they do not, that mindset can destroy a portfolio it took 3 decades to build. The financial industry does not emphasize sequence of returns risk because average projections are clean and sellable. Sequence of returns risk is messy and requires behavioral changes that reduce assets under management. So they show you the clean version and call it planning. 3 things to take with you. 1. If you are within 10 years of retirement, sequence of returns risk needs to be on your actual planning checklist, not in theory, in your account structure. 2. A cash buffer is not lazy money. It is insurance with a specific and expensive purpose, keeping you from selling stocks at the worst possible moment. 3. Average return is the number the industry sells you. Sequence of returns is the number that determines your actual retirement. They are not the same number. Treating them as equivalent is how careful, responsible people end up financially destroyed. The plan your advisor ran assumed calm winds at landing. Build a plan that survives the bad gust. Retirement has no do-overs. What matters is not the average sequence the projections assumed. It is whether your structure can survive the sequence you actually get. That is the trap. And now you know it exists.